Okay, this creepypasta is a pretty long one. And this is Pokemon Lost Silver. You see, I am a simple college student living alone in an apartment. I was very enthusiastic, I don't know that word, about the release of Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver here in the States. I have purposely locked myself out of all media and the internet aside from for school purposes. That means no 4chan, no /v/ no Bulbapedia, etc. etc. As I was busy with the school year and being poor at the time, I wasn't able to buy Soul Silver on its launch date. After my school year ended, I ordered Soul Silver on Amazon. However, it took a week for it to arrive. I decided that during that time I would replay my Crystal version on the Game Boy Color. However, I realized that long ago, my mom threw it away because I told her the save went dead, and I was very upset about it then. She also threw away my silver version, so all I have is my Game Boy Color. As much as set out to GameStop and bought a used silver version, as it's the only Pokemon left that they have for the Game Boy Color. $10, fairly cheap. I went home and started it up from some kind of trip. However, that's where things started getting bizarre, and most likely the reason why you read this. The Game Freak logo started up as normal, but it just froze. I thought the cart was just errored or something, so I turned it off and on. The same thing happened. I tried pressing A and start over and over, and all the buttons eventually. The logo vanished, and there was a black screen for about 5 seconds. Suddenly, rather than going to the usually menu screen, it was already in the game, in a previous saved file, which was odd. I was expecting all these cards to have been wiped by the poor battery. Either way, I wasn't complaining, as I would have chosen the continue option to see what the previous guy did anyways. First off, I checked his trainer information. His name was just ... He didn't have much originality. I checked his profile, and apparently he had 999 days and 99 hours put into the game, with all 16 badges. 99,999 Pokédollars and all 251 Pokemon on the Pokédex. Seeing as he apparently had Mew and Celebi logged also, I'm guessing he either used a Game Genie or was really hardcore Pokemon player back then. I checked his Pokemon to see what a bad something team he has. To my subscribe, I saw 5 unknowns and a 6th Pokemon named Hurry. I'm thinking that this must be some cruel joke by the person who last played this game, but I decided to check the profiles of these Pokemon anyways. As expected, there were different letters of unknown, all level 5. It was a bit shaky with my unknown alphabet all the time, but I identified the word spelled out to be leave. As for the 6th Pokemon, it turned out to be a Cyndaquil. Mind you, this is before they were in digitalized Pokemon icons. The Cyndaquil looked normal, but it was level 5 with only 1 HP left. With only 2 attacks, Leer and Flash. I don't know why they named him Hurry, but at the time, I just disregarded it. The most eerie thing was, despite my volume being at max, none of the Pokemon he said their usual cries, just poor silence. Having enough of the team, I closed it. I was parked at what appears to be a room inside Bellsprout Tower. However, for some reason, there was no NPCs around. Even more eerie was that the pillar in the middle didn't move at all, as if I was just leaning on its side. There was no music at all, and there was no exit or ladder, or at least I thought there wasn't. I walked around a few minutes, but couldn't seem to find a way out. This was certainly not a room I've seen in the Bellsprout Tower before. I've tried checking my items for an escape rope, but the bag was completely empty. There wasn't any wild Pokemon either. Finally, I've managed to find a ladder, which turned out to be behind the pillar. The screen turned black, and the music finally started playing. I had a sudden chill, as I recognized that melody I heard to be the theme you hear when you listen to the radio at the Elf Ruins, where the unknown are at. I immediately realized that it wasn't a loading transition, but rather I was in a dark room and would need flash. Before I took care of that, I immediately checked my Pokegear to change the radio to something more pleasant. But it turns out that there was no radio card, or even a phone, nor time cards. There was only a map card in which Gold from earlier, and I will call him Gold from now on, was just walking in the mists of black. I recall that Cyndaquil had flash, so I turned off my Pokegear and made Cyndaquil use flash. I didn't see any message saying hurry has used flash or anything like that. The room just became lit just like that, and I soon regretted it. The room was chilling blood red with a leaner gray path heading down south. The ladder I used to go up and down was not there at all. I had no choice but to head south. The screen got darker every 20 steps I made until I finally got to the end, which appears to be a sign read, "Turn back now." Suddenly I was asked to answer a question, yes or no. But there was no question asked. I chose yes, as I do not want what it was saying, and the screen went black again, making a ladder climb sound. The unknown radio music stopped, and in a few seconds were replaced with the not as creepy Pokey Flute radio music. I was in another dark room, but I held my breath and used flash again. Suddenly it said that Hurry has fainted, which was odd since I recall there was no status like poison on him. And I clearly wasn't in battle. I checked my Pokemon quickly, and suddenly he's no longer in my party. In fact, after a bit of investigating, none of my Pokemon are there, but instead all replaced with level 10 unknown. I did the same thing as before and spelled out the unknown. My then team of unknown spelled he died. Either way, after that creepy change, the room was lit to reveal myself in a very small room that appears to be only 4 squares big. The walls of that room were gray bricks, as if it was inside something that was hollowed out. Outside that room appears to be a bunch of graves similar to the ones in Pokemon Red and Blue. I walked around that small room and pressed A, but nothing happened. I've already concluded that this was clearly a hacked game, and some sadistic, stupid person sold it to GameStop. However, my curiosity kept me going. I checked the trainer profile of ... again only to find out the sprite of gold was missing his arms. He also seems to appear less smug, but rather seems more sad and empty in a way that I do not know how to describe. For some reason, he had 24 badges, which was clearly impossible. After a few minutes of aimless wondering, my character suddenly spun and did the escape rope spinning animation. Instead of flying up, my character spun downwards slowly, as if sinking. As the screen music stopped, after finally landing, the overworld sprite of gold is colored differently now. Instead of the usually red color, it appears completely white now, including his skin. As if he came straight the colorless Game Boy games placed into a colored background of Game Boy Color. I checked his profile, and now is as white as overworld sprite. He lost his legs and has what appears to be bloody tears from his eyes. It also says he has 32 badges, which now starts to disturb me, as the change of number seems to represent something important. I also checked my Pokemon, which time contains 5 unknown and a level 100 Celebi without a nickname. The unknown are this time level 15 and spelled out dying. I checked the Celebi's profile. It was a shiny Celebi, except there's only one half of the sprite, 1 leg, 1 arm, and an eye. It has only 1 attack, Perish Stone. The area I was in itself was a sprout tower, with the immobile pillar as before, except everything is apparently red now. I walked north for what felt like... Hold on. Okay. The music starts again, which sounds like the unknown radio music again, but played backwards. Gold Battle back sprite matches his front one with the bloody eyes, white skin, and lack of arms. The text simply said, "Wants to battle." That's weird, because it just randomly popped up. That's weird. As if he has no name, and both of us only have 1 Pokemon each, which is weird, as I swore I had six with my unknowns. The shiny noise and animation was different, as the sounds... Oh wait, never mind, I skipped a little bit. My shiny Celebi came out, conveniently a half sprite for the back sprite also. The shiny noise and animation was different, as the sounds made sound like multiple screech attacks used simultaneously. Red sent out a seemingly normal male Pikachu, except he's level 255 and his sprite seems sad and his tears in his eyes. Rather than usually fight item Pokemon run menu, I was only given the option to attack. Since Celebi has 1, I chose it naturally. Since Pikachu was level 255, he went first. Pikachu used Curse, lowering his speed and increasing his other stats. I'm not sure if Pikachu could use... I'm not sure but both Pokemon got KO'd. Not like I have a choice. At this point, it didn't even go back to the fight menu, as if the battle continued without me. Also note that there was no reason the animations at all for some reason. Pikachu used Flail, which didn't do much damage despite his level and boost as health was maxed. Celebi used Parasong. Nothing happens, as it was already said. Celebi used Parasong. Nothing happened again. Pikachu used Frustration, which did a crap ton of damage, knocking Celebi down to less than 10 HP. Celebi used Plain Slit, which surprised me as Celebi didn't even have this attack in the first place. Now Celebi and Pikachu have about 150 HP. Pikachu used Mean Look, not like that did anything. As expected, due to the effects of Parasong, my Celebi fainted. Except in the text it says Celebi has died. Instead of the ordinary drop screen, the animation backsprite vanished. For some reason, the Pikachu was still up even with the Parasong and didn't count as my loss. Pikachu used one more different attack beyond the attack limit. He used Destiny Bond. At that point, I just freaked out, as this transparent red sprite was suddenly beheaded, leaving nothing but his transparent body. The battle then ended, and the point faded out along with the music. I'm back in the overworld with another change to the gold sprite. He's now transparent as Red's overworld sprite. I quickly checked Gold's profile, where this time only remains of his head with a transparent skin. The head was zoomed in a bit, showing a black void in his eyes. It now started as he has 40 badges. I then backed out and checked my Pokemon. They were all level 20 Shiny Unknown, which were more spelled out no more. I know that in the music, there was the unknown music and then it went straight to the new Barktown music. Maybe finally I get to play this game properly, but who am I kidding? I knew that sadistic crapface must have done something. Walked around my room. I went down the stairs, and waiting down there, a note I said walked. As while the background was moving, Gold was not moving his transparent limbs while doing so, just floating like ghosts you see in Diamond and Pearl. After a long trek south, I finally encountered something. It was Gold's regular sprite. I talked to it. He said goodbye forever. And as that happened, it said use Nightmare, which at that point I would not deny that being possible. Gold did another escape road animation, spinning slowly downwards like before. I'm now back into a small hollowed out room like Graves earlier, or at least I say there was a sprite. I tried to walk around, but nothing moved. Not even wall bumping. I checked my trainer profile with absolutely no Gold sprite left. I said I had 0 badges, and all the pictures of Johto gym leaders were at the bottom, replaced with skulls. I checked my Pokemon, which were all level 25 unknown. As expected, it spelled out a phrase I dared to read: I'm dead. As soon as I went back to the overworld room, there was a final text that said RIP. That room was a big grave surrounded by other graves. Gold had already been dead. He died a few years ago after he defeated Red. He was a young trainer who, despite his efforts in collecting so many badges and attempts at becoming a Pokemon master, was still unable to avoid the fate of death, and his efforts were eventually forgotten by the next generation. And that's it. That's a scary one, but thanks for watching.